Hey, what's going on, CCR? It's GCP here. Hopefully you guys enjoy the gameplay in the background. Do you guys remember during the holiday season, especially when you were a kid, and I know we have some older people who watch this, but if you guys can go back with me to a time when you were a child and you would ask your parents for basically what you wanted during Christmas, you would make a wish list, right? You would put all the items that you wanted, and you knew in particular, and your parents knew also, there was that one gift that you wanted over everything else that you wrote down. So you were hoping, you were crossing your fingers, you were crossing your butt cheeks, hoping for that gift. And that was a feeling of suspense that you had. And when you actually got it Christmas Day, you were just beside yourself. You were just so excited, jumping up and down, and that was the most exciting time. You know, as the holiday season is coming up, I was reminded of that time when I was a kid, and obviously I had no control over whether or not my parents were actually going to get me that gift, because you know, right now, of course, as I'm older, I can go out and get stuff for myself. I can drive myself to the store right now. I have the money to go and get whatever it is I want. And back then, you know, I still am as huge of a gamer now as I was back then, and obviously I love video games, and that was my number one thing that I always wanted during Christmas. I either wanted a new video game or I wanted a new console. And it was during that time that whenever I would ask for the latest game out there or the latest console during that time, if a console was available during that time, because they don't come out every single year, but when those were made available and it was the hottest thing out, I would always ask for that. That would be the number one thing, the first thing I would write on my wish list. And I would make it known all month long and maybe 2 months before Christmas that this is what I really wanted. And I would make sure I let my parents know that this is what I wanted. And they would always tell me, okay, GCP, just write down a wish list of all the things that you want, and you know what? Let's see if Santa actually gives you what you want. We'll see during Christmas Day. So it was always exciting for me, and I was always very surprised by it, even though I had a hint as to what they would get me, because you know, my parents loved me. But you know, that's not the case with everyone, and that's unfortunate. But you know, if you have that that option, or you have a fortunate environment where your parents actually got you what you wanted, it was still very exciting for you, right? And during that time, when you opened it up, Christmas Day, I can remember this actually. When was the last time I don't even remember. Scratch that. I don't remember the last time I was surprised by a gift. Now that I'm older, but as a kid, I can remember that when I opened that gift, you know, my heart would start, you know, pumping, and I would just be filled with so much joy during that time. And of course, during Christmas time, when you're a kid, it's more about receiving than giving, right? And of course, we wanted all the great gifts, and I normally didn't ask for anything else besides video games. I never asked for toys. I never really asked for clothes, anything else but video games. And every time I got them, I was just as excited as the last video game that I unpacked, or I wrapped up, or not wrapped up, but unwrapped. And the only other time that I can remember that I get gifts is, of course, my birthday. But you know, on Christmas, it's just a whole different story, because sometimes you get more than one gift. You get a bunch of gifts. And of course, that childhood whole phenomenon of opening gifts is the best possible time. And of course, when you're older now, you learn that it's not so much about what you receive, it's about what you give. And the reactions that people get when you give them that gift is it's priceless, because nowadays I can just go up and get my own stuff. Back then, as a child, you had no say in that. You would have to rely on your parents for that. But now, as I'm older, now as you grow up, you understand why giving is much more priceless than receiving. As a kid, it's not. As an adult, or as somebody who's older, you understand that concept. But anyways, let me know your guys' thoughts down below. If you're still a kid, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about when I was a kid. And if you're older, you now understand what it's like to give, and that feeling you get when that person is happy, or when they put a smile on their face, whether they're genuinely excited about the gift that you give them and they like it, how that feels. But let me just reminisce with you guys in the comment section below, and let me know how you guys feel when you were a kid. Were they the same feelings that I used to get when I was a kid, or were they different? Anyways, let me know all of that. I'll catch you guys on the next one. This is GCP, and I am signing off.